Hi, everyone. Elida Zweidler-McKay here with ZM Coach, where we're all about helping people take their careers to the next level. We help mid-level managers prepare for and land that next promotion, whether that's at your current company or somewhere else. So today I want to talk to you about the feeling of being stuck in your career. I've had the opportunity to talk with several people recently who have just expressed this real sense of being stuck. And they feel not clear about what they want to do next. They're unhappy in their current jobs. They're hearing about this great resignation, but they're afraid to do that themselves, to kind of try to find what's next. And they're also sort of not really clear about what that would look like. So they end up in this kind of place where they're not really happy with where they are now. They think they want to do something else, but they don't really know what. And because that's not clear to them, they haven't then taken any steps to try to move on to the next thing. So I think of it as sort of an eddy, like, in a creek, like you think you're going forward in your career, and then something happens and it sort of takes you off to the side. And then you're kind of stuck in one of those little eddies where it's like this, I don't know what I want, so therefore I can't go for it. Because I'm not going for it, I'm still where I am, and therefore I don't know what I want, so you end up in this little loop. So that to me, one of the biggest myths about looking for your next job or your next career is the idea that you have to know what you want before you can go for it. I think, there's this really linear way of thinking that shows up in our culture, especially here in the US, where, it's like step by step. Like first we have to know what we want, and then we can look into it and start to connect and put our resumes out there and whatever, and then we can interview for it, and then we can get it. It'd be great if the world worked that way, but my experience in coaching people to find their next careers and find their next jobs is that it doesn't usually work that way. The more people sit back and try to get clear by themselves about what it is that they want to do next, the more stuck they feel. And the reason I think for that is that our systems only have the information that they have. So you only have the information you have right now about what you've done so far and what else is out there. And if nothing from that is really lighting you up or pulling you forward, then you don't have enough information in your system by yourself to be able to solve that problem. What it's going to take for you to figure out what you want to do next is to get more information into the system, to get more information about what it is that you're interested in, what might be out there that could be appealing to you, what different roles or different kinds of companies might be like to work for or work in. And the only way to get that is to be reaching out. So that's why when I work with clients, we start right away with informational interviewing and networking, because the best way for you to find out what is out there, what appeals to you, where's your energy, is to start following some threads through to see where they lead you. This is a method for finding a new job that I actually experienced myself. So back in my 20s, I knew I wanted to do consulting. I wanted to do something to do with people. I wasn't sure what that was going to look like. I had worked for the company that's now become Accenture. It was Anderson Consulting at the time. And the work-life balance there was not a good fit for me at the time. It was fly out Monday, fly back Thursday. I was exhausted. I hated it. I didn't want to keep doing it. So I actually quit that job before I knew what was going to be next. And that's when I started this exploration of trying to figure out, where did my talents lie? Like where did I want to work? And at that point, being in my mid-20s, I just didn't have that much exposure to what all the different roles might be that would be a good fit for me. So I launched an exploration. I did this in partnership with another friend who was looking at the same time. And we sort of treated it like a research project, where our goal was to figure out everything we could about this field of organization dynamics, which is what we thought really appealed to us. And we went out and networked and interviewed and talked with people and put our resumes out there and learned. And what we discovered was that there were all these different aspects of the field and all these different ways that we could be part of it. And my friend ended up in kind of a trainer role where she was doing leadership training, and I ended up in a consulting role. Actually, first a research role where I worked at Harvard Business School writing a research case. discovered from that I didn't like sitting in an ivory tower and writing about things and not interacting with people. Like even as I was interviewing people about that case, I wanted to get in there and like run a team building for them and get them to talk to one another and not just write about it. So I learned something about that. My point is, the best way for you to learn what's next in your career is to be putting yourself out there and finding out. And the best way to do that is to be able to define some different pathways for yourself that you can be exploring, whether that's through informational interviews or putting your resume out and doing, job interviews or whatever that's going to look like. But just feeling like you can't do anything until you know what you want to do, but you don't know what you want to do. So, you don't want to stay stuck in that little eddy where you don't know. What you need to be doing is putting yourself out there. Now, I think the biggest challenge about doing that I see from my clients is often if you're in a place where you feel stuck in your career, it's hard to imagine showing up to those conversations in a kind of confident way that you would want to, right? So if you're feeling sort of stuck and not sure, and maybe you're unhappy in your current job, and maybe your performance isn't great, that can all take a real toll on your self-esteem. And then that can make it hard to even pick up the phone or send the email to request those kinds of interviews. So the first thing I work on with my clients, and then I had to work on myself after that experience of kind of burning out and leaving my Accenture job, was getting my feet back under me and getting my self-esteem back in shape. And that is what I do with my clients as well. We work on getting you back to that solid, confident executive presence and the skills and the tools that you need to be able to create those conversations that are then going to help you find out what it is that you really want to do. It's been so much fun watching my clients as they've explored different pathways, discovered new opportunities. For one client, she thought that she had to choose between two fields, and it turns out we were able to help her create a role for herself in a company with someone she knew, where she gets to do both. I've had other people who feel like, they think they want to go this way, but then they learn more about this other field, and that's a better fit for their time and talent. So they move into that. And even those kinds of moves don't necessarily have to require a step back in your career. If you're positioned correctly, even if you're making a bit of a shift, you should be able to take what you've learned, what you've experienced, all your skills, and leverage those into a new role. Now, that takes some doing to position yourself that way, because unfortunately, a lot of companies, and especially a lot of hiring managers and recruiters, have gotten really narrow in their thinking, where it's like they want somebody with very specific experience who can walk in and just know what to do because they've done it before. But I would venture to say that that's not really serving anyone. There are a lot of really smart people who can figure things out broadly, and having someone who brings a different perspective, maybe from a different industry or a slightly different role, can actually really add to the quality of your team and what your team's able to accomplish, because you're not just recycling the same ideas, you're bringing in new and different ideas. And that's one of the things that I help my clients figure out how to make the case for, especially if they're applying for a job that's maybe a little bit different from, with a background that's maybe a little bit different from the traditional. So all of those are the kinds of things that I help clients with. We get clear about different pathways you want to explore. We help you get your self-esteem and your confidence in place so that you can explore those from a place of strength. We take what you're learning from that and help you narrow down to the kinds of roles that are going to be a good fit. And then we help you negotiate for those roles, sometimes even creating them if they don't exist, so that you can do the kind of work that you love, that's really going to draw on your strengths and your talents and really help you shine in a way that you're contributing to your own life and also to having an impact on the organization that is smart enough to hire you. So if any of that's interesting to you, if you feel like you've been stuck in that little eddy in your career where things are, other boats are passing you by and you're not quite getting where you want to go, reach out to me and let's talk. We'll get on the phone. You'll get on the phone with either me or a member of my team for about 45 minutes, and we'll talk about your current situation, where you want to go, what it would look like if we were to help you with that. And if we're not a good fit based on what you tell us, we'll let you know that as well and point you to other resources. Either way, our goal is for you to walk away from that call with some real clarity about what your next steps could be to take your career to the next level. So you can book that call with us at zmcoach.com/apply. We look forward to talking with you. Take care.